Hi, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Italian Faves series. This lesson is Fettucine Alfredo with Pancetta. As if this Roman classic from the early 20th century weren't rich enough, I'm amping it up with pancetta and cherry tomatoes, which marry well with the butter, cream, and parm. So let's start cooking. Now we're going to make the pasta. You can use prepared pasta, but I'm making the pasta fresh from scratch for this lesson. And I've done this in several other lessons, so I'm not going to describe it in detail. I'm going to do it in fast motion. We're starting with a cup of flour. We've made a well, 1 large egg, decent pinch of salt, 1 tablespoon olive oil, 2 tablespoons warm water. We may add more as we go on. Then we're going to mix it up, make the pasta. Okay, now we're going to take the pasta and we're going to start rolling it. Let's reposition the camera again so we have everything in the image. Okay. We're going to roll it through the pasta machine on number 1. All right, now we're going to wrap the pasta in a damp paper towel and we're going to let it rest for about 15 minutes or so. Okay, now let's heat our pasta water. All right, now we've let the pasta rest for a little while. I've dusted the work surface with some flour. I have a half sheet pan here that's dusted with some flour to receive the fettuccine after I cut it. And I'm going to make this fettuccine while the chicken is roasting. Okay, so we're going to dust both sides of the pasta, press it down, and we're going to run it through a couple more times on number 1 until I feel like it is very uniform. All right, now we're just going to run it through on number 1 more time, and then we're going to start to go up to the higher numbers. We're going to run it through number 6 on this machine. Not all machines go up to the same number. I don't want it to get too thin, so I'm going to the next to the last number on this machine. Okay, now we're going to cut the fettuccine, and after we cut it, we're going to put it onto this half sheet pan here, which I've scattered with some flour, okay? And we're going to toss the fettuccine into the flour so it doesn't stick to itself. Okay, here's our fettuccine, and we're just going to toss it in a little bit more flour so that it doesn't stick to itself. And then we are ready to cook it. Okay, now we're going to melt our butter. I'm going to put it on fairly low heat. Okay, when you start to get some foam in your butter, add the pancetta, okay? And we're going to let that cook for a little while in the butter till we start to get just a little bit of color. I don't want it to be crispy, and I don't want it to be undercooked. I want it to be cooked through, starting to firm up. Now while the pancetta cooks, let's drop our fettuccine into the boiling pasta water, and we're going to let that cook for about 1 minute, okay? Freshly made pasta or fettuccine takes very little time. Okay, now we're going to run some cold water over that pasta so we can keep it from cooking any further. Then we want to drain it. Okay, our pancetta is looking really nice, okay? And now we're going to add the cream and stir it in. Now we're going to add a little bit of salt. Now, you may not need much salt because the pancetta has salt, okay? So we're just going to add a little bit of salt there. And taste it. That's good. You know, if it tastes a little bit salty, that's probably not a problem because once you put this sauce over the pasta will kind of cancel out some of that salty taste. Okay. Okay, now we want to swirl in the fettuccine, okay? I'm going to kind of swirl that around a bit to mix it. Okay, then we're going to add the cheese. And we're going to toss that a bit to mix it, okay? Now, if your sauce is too thick at this point, you could add a little bit of the pasta water to thin it. I don't think this is too thick. I think it's actually perfect. I want it to be not soupy, but kind of wet, okay? I don't want it to be dry. If it's dry, if you like it dry, leave it dry. But if you don't want it dry, at this point, you could add a little bit of pasta water to loosen it up. All right, now we're just going to let that warm over the heat. It's on low heat. We're going to let that warm for just a minute or so. Okay, now we're going to plate up, and this is enough for 2 people for a main course, or more people if you're doing it as a small plate. And you could easily do this as a small plate because it is so rich. Okay. A little bit more. Okay, now we're going to garnish with the sliced cherry tomatoes. I have a couple different colors of cherry tomatoes here, as you may see. And twist of freshly ground black pepper. And just a few grains of salt over the top. Okay, there we have it. That is Fettucine Alfredo with pancetta and sliced cherry tomatoes. You can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is @ChefsApprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.